Hi, welcome to the Criterion Creeps. This is our October spooktacular month. Yeah, so I guess we'll start the show.
Do we have to?
Criterion Creeps. Criterion Creeps. Hi, I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And today we're doing Spooktacular October month. I keep changing the name. We just started this. It was a year ago we did Houseu, whichever. And we started, let's do Halloween, all Halloween.
We did. We're doing all Halloween month.
Yeah, and then I found this movie. I was like, we should try this because it looks like it could be fun.
Yeah.
And it's called I Was a Teenage Zombie. Now, if you look on Criterion, their website, it's not listed anywhere.
Really?
But it was on the Hulu when it was on Hulu, and it's on Filmstruck as Criterion.
Yes.
So there's no DVD release as Criterion, from what I know. I think I know why. So we did the movie I Was a Teenage Zombie from 1987.
Not related with I Was a Teenage Werewolf or I Was a...
Nope.
What was it?
I might have liked it. I might have liked it then.
Yeah.
So this movie
when you told it to me, when you gave me the title, I thought it was affiliated with those.
And then we watched it.
Yeah.
I regret even picking this movie. and I'm going to be looking at my phone. He probably will be too because we made notes. This may be the longest episode of Criterion Creeps. So I think general consensus is neither of us like this movie.
Yeah. I think that's an easy one.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I mean...
Well, it starts off with the credits, which has got horrible writing, by the way. Like, you can barely read it. And it's playing a punk song, and you're like, okay. Alright. I think it was the Flesh Tones.
If you go on the Wikipedia, like, there's a tab for the soundtrack.
Well,
so the soundtrack's important.
Well, I know the Flesh Tones did original music for it, but they did use other stuff, like Violent Femmes came in. I'm sitting here, I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, that sounds like Violent Femmes.
Basically, the movie is like, if you took Porky's, mixed it with Frankenstein, and Dawn of the Dead. And that's what you get, and this is the movie you get, and you think, that's a cool concept, you can get there.
Well, then the movie starts, right after the credits.
There's going to be spoilers in this, by the way.
Oh, boy. This went downhill real quick. The credits are the best part.
Yeah.
Because the sound is so bad in this movie.
You know, the soundtrack's really good, but...
The soundtrack's not bad.
The soundtrack's great.
The sound mix...
It drowns out all the dialogue.
The sound mix is bad, and the dialogue, bad. ADR, bad.
The first scene, I think it's when...
the writing, bad.
The main character's name is...
Dan
okay,
Wake. And there's also Gordy.
Okay, Gordy. When Gordy comes in...
With the window. I did like the window thing.
But the thing, with the window, he jumped...
The running gag.
He jumped on the window.
Like, yeah, it's only waist high.
And he jumps on the window, and I'm just like... He jumps up, like, oh, he's on the second floor. And then he's standing, like, wait, what? Why'd you do the jump?
He just wanted to scare Dan.
And then they do the dialogue, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't hear what they're saying. I had to put subtitles on. That's how bad it was.
I didn't use subtitles. I went pro style here.
You went, yeah. I had to be a little amateur and put closed captions. And then what the marijuana? What are they calling it?
Marijubies. At one point was one of the terms.
And then you have
the weeds. Which is... Alright, so... Okay, let's set it up. It's a group of friends.
Very Porky's-like.
Very Porky's-like. Very Animal House-like. Mm-hmm. And there was a point where they go to a house that reminded me of the Animal House.
You have Dan, you have Gordy, who's the loudmouth.
Dan's kind of the jockey burnout. So he's the one on the baseball team.
A.K.A. the most boring man in the world.
And you know what's funny? He's like, what's his name? He's the voice of Joseph on King of the Hill. He's very much... He reminds me of him, only less charismatic.
Yeah. You have Gordy, you have Specs, I don't know his actual name.
There's
two Specs.
Alright, so it's Dan, Gordy,
the smart
Lieberman, which is the dumb fat guy,
Yes.
He's Chuck.
He's your flounder.
I think it was Chuck, or was it something?
I think it was Chuck.
Or Arnie or Arnold or something. I don't know.
There's two guys with glasses. One was smart.
One had a hat. One had a hat. One hung out with Lieberman.
and there's also characters like Bird.
Bird was cool.
Who is so like okay. What's the best characters of the characters that aren't in the movie? Like Moon, the drug dealer.
No, I hate it. No, are you talking about Mussolini?
No, Moon.
Moon. Oh, Moon was cool.
The first drug dealer to go.
He wasn't really good, but
he was good. You know why he was great? Because he was in one scene and he never showed up again.
It was bad acting though.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's not even the biggest problem in this movie.
It's all bad acting. Actually, you know who I like the most in the whole movie is Cindy Faithfull. Horrible name, by the way.
Yeah.
But Mussolini, who is the...
Who looks like an off-brand Cheech Marin. He looks like Cheech Marin mixed with the guy that's from Maniac. What's his name? The original Maniac. What is his name?
Frank Zito.
Frank Zito. It looks like Frank Zito and Cheech Marin
I think
together.
that was the actual character's name, though. Because I think Joe Spinell was the actor's name.
Joe Spinell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Joe
Frank
Spinell.
Zito is the character's name in Maniac.
You know what I mean? Joe Spinell and Cheech Marin had like a child. This Mussolini. Or Moose.
Can I get into a little bit? Because I want you to take less plot on this one. We'll switch off later.
Oh, but I do have a joke. The marijuana is dry. The town is dry on marijuana, and I wrote the joke. Did you know the town is dry, like the actors?
All right. But so the plot is these group of friends. It's about 5 or 6 of them, and then you have Bird, who's not really. He's like a bully,
but he's not.
But he's cool with them.
Yeah,
because
he sticks up for him.
Yeah, they're all trying to score marijuana.
Marijuana.
Yeah.
We have to call it that.
Marijubies.
Yeah, we gotta call it that now.
Marijubies. So they're trying to score marijuana for the spring dance to make it interesting. Hopefully it makes the movie interesting. And they go to Moon, which he has the Animal House. And
he sets the plot of
he's essentially
the river.
Yeah, he's essentially like an acid burnout, like he's dead, like he's gone, too far gone. He's super paranoid, and he tells them about the river being contaminated. Then he's like, "There's no weed here, man. Nothing came."
He's not dealing drugs. He's dealing exposition.
So much exposition. So that's how they find out there's no marijuana, but LSD, all the other stuff he's got.
Apparently, only drug dealers have mustaches.
Yeah. And then you follow Moose or Mussolini.
They never call him Moose ever again.
Yeah, when they call him Moose, he shows his belt buckle and says Moose.
And it just says Mussolini the rest of the movie.
And everybody says Mussolini. He's like some slimy drug dealer, trafficker, and he fucked up the marijuana shipment, which is why the town's dry. And then the ones he did get, the weeds, he calls it weeds. I hated them so much.
He calls it the weeds from Mexico's.
Yeah, Mexico's. Apparently the weeds from Mexico's is so bad. I'm like, okay, so is this going like one of those like stoner like zombie movies like Return of the Dead 3D or something, or Night of the Living Dead 3D, or Evil Bong or something? Like the weed's toxic and these kids are gonna get turned into zombies because of it? Just wait. That's not what happens.
Well, my favorite scene is also the editing is awful in this. The cuts are so bad.
Yeah.
When they're smoking
the camera angles are bad.
When they're smoking weed and they start coughing in the bathroom, and then it cuts the Gordy with like Mussolini having mine in the throat. And I'm like, whoa, when did this happen?
Yeah, and so
it doesn't go right.
They eventually run into Mussolini, who's the only guy with weeds in town.
He was also hanging out in high school and it was kind of creepy.
Yeah, he's a sleazy guy. A lot of statutory stuff in this movie.
There's a point where I'm like, I'm about to turn off this movie because
I know which one you're talking about. But they wanted to get a half-pound, quarter-pound of weed, and people all bought in for it. Anyway, they get it. They find out the shit is bad. It's not good, and they go to get their money back, and he beats up Gordy.
It's comical. He comes into the diner. Oh, by the way, the diner with what was the guy's name? What was the
Oh,
I kept calling him Pop. Let's just call him Pop. I forget his name.
I'll probably remember it later.
Yeah, but Pop is
But yeah, he's the guy who runs the malt shop.
the malt shop.
Yeah.
Because this is made in the 80s, but they're trying to go 50s, but it's still from the 50s, but they have punk music. And I guess that's interesting, but too bad the movie is not.
And let me finish up my little plot synopsis
I'm
here.
sorry.
So they try and get the money back. Well, Gordy does, because he's the one that talked everybody into it. And he gets beat up, and then the whole group decides to face down this drug dealer together with Bird, who's the most intimidating person in town, apparently. And so they face him down, and they almost get beat up, and then Dan comes in the clutch, knocks out Mussolini, and they dump his body in the river. And turns out the river is super irradiated. They made up some kind of measurement.
The atoms recreated his body or whatever.
So he comes back as a zombie, and that's kind of the plot. He's coming back for revenge as a zombie.
Which is a cool concept. I don't
You start, that's where you start getting, alright, there's some good ideas in here, but then they poorly execute all of them.
And then they do the idea with the monster versus the monster. I'm like, okay, I'm liking this idea, but they execute it in the most boring way possible.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
You forgot about the banana peel gag.
Oh, yeah, where originally they think he died because he slipped on a banana peel.
So, yeah, Mussolini starts killing off people. He kills a total of 3 people, by the way.
He kills Bird first.
Yeah, by ripping his tongue out. Cat got your
tongue. And he also killed a couple guards.
That's right. But the main one is...
that we never see on screen.
This is the point where I was about to turn off the movie.
When he gets the...
He gets the girl on the hood of the car and rapes her.
Yeah.
Zombie raping a person. And then she starts enjoying it or whatever, and then rips her legs off, and it's just like, this movie did not need this. It was too far, I thought. And here's the thing. I've seen movies like Serbian film, Martyrs. I've seen Human Centipede. I've seen all these movies. This one was like, this does not match the whatever tone this movie is.
They really were going for Tom Savini stuff. And you gotta admit, the effects weren't horrible.
The face rip wasn't awful.
Yeah, they're not horrible. You can tell how cheap it is, but they're not bad for what it is.
Yeah.
Everything else is worse.
Yeah, it's just, I look at my notes. There was points... Okay, here's a good way to explain the main character.
You know what? You know what this movie looks like? Is one of those 80s afternoon specials.
Yeah. When the girl was Cindy, she's at the creek after her boyfriend or whatever pissed her off. She's sitting at the creek. So Dan's gonna put the moves on her and sits by the creek, and he goes on to go into this the most boring man dialogue ever. And then you can even tell on her face that she is bored to death. I don't know if that's on purpose, but it was.
She was the best part of this movie.
I thought Mussolini was the first 3 scenes he was in.
No, because it wears out real fast.
That's what I said. The first 3 scenes, and then it wears out, and you're like,
it wore out for me after 3 lines. I was done.
Let's see.
But Cindy.
Oh, but there was
So she's the object of Dan's, because Dan's our primary main character. She's the object of his desire. He wants to be with her. He adores her. And for a low budget movie, she's actually super pretty, without being overboard. And she's not a horrible actress. She has horrible lines.
And then the story goes on to near the end. She's like, "I love you," and I'm like, "Wait, you didn't go on one date."
I know.
You just said one boring thing at the creek and defended you against some non-violent boyfriend.
You forgot about the part at the lake. So Dan goes and he's like, "You know why I like this lake?" And he goes into the speech.
She's like, speech ever.
She goes, "Go away." Then the abusive guy shows up, which I do admire the fact that they take on abusive relationships.
But he wasn't that abusive.
He's kind of a controlling dick.
He's controlling dick, but
that's abuse.
But he was a controlling dick, and then Dan tells him off in the most nonchalant way.
He's like, "Dude, get out of here." He's like, "I don't have a problem with you, Dan." And the guy leaves, and she's like, "Dan, stay."
Yeah, all of a sudden.
But we get a flashback later about the rest of their date at the lake.
That's true.
You don't remember that, do you?
Yeah, it's a blur. Most of the memories blur. I did make notes. The one part I laughed so hard is when they established
you laughed?
When it was unintentional. when Bird, they showed that he's on the motor. They showed his motorcycle. So he gets on the motorcycle.
The motorcycle is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, but then he's like, you think he's gonna take off? And he's looking like he's the most safest motorcycle driver ever. And I'm just like, I laughed so hard because he acted like he was so tough, and that was the shot they used.
Well, they're also doing guerrilla filmmaking, obviously, so they're on a live street, so he's gonna not die.
Then there's the final fight. How'd you think about the final fight? You think, oh man, it's going down. Monster versus monster. It's gonna be awesome. Boring. Did you know that? I didn't know that Cindy died.
Yeah, she died.
I had to rewind it. It's like, oh, she hit her head on a nail. Oh.
Yeah, and then Dan carries her off, a la Frankenstein.
Creature of the Black Lagoon.
Creature, and actually, it's more like Creature.
Yeah.
And
I do like. There was one thing I was like, this is
I was
clever.
really mad at the end though. They cut it really premature. They instead of filming the end, they have one of the characters guess what happens. He's like, well, if I were to make a guess, I'd say they have a few more minutes together.
Yeah,
and then walk off into the darkest frame I've ever seen.
Yeah, they were like, oh, the radiation's going away from the river. How do you know this? When did this happen? Was it ever established ever?
Well, don't you like how, between Dan dying and then the funeral and everything, it's like 2 months or something?
No one saw him steal the body?
Yeah, they moved bodies in broad daylight.
And no one in the church saw them. They were wearing masks.
Yeah, the pantyhose.
Yeah. So, I think that's... I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. I just
remember...
the editing and the sound is bad in this movie. It really hurts the movie. And the story is...
So I got a couple notes here in the middle.
Okay.
Death by banana, and then moving a body in broad daylight. This sucks. Fucking lame party, which is the one at the lake.
Yeah.
And then I wrote fucking exposition. Fucking time skip. Yeah. This motherfucker keep running into these kids. Yeah, when the zombie comes up, he just keeps running into him, by accident, even though he's looking for him.
It's a small town.
The cop was stupid.
The
interrogation in the basement.
The room was amazing. Let's be real. That was an amazing interrogation room. It was amazing on how bad it was.
You know my feelings about trauma movies, right? I'm not a big fan.
You're not a big fan.
I'm not a big fan.
But if you want to see a movie that's better than this, Class of Nukem High.
Well, I do like Toxic Avenger.
Toxic Avenger's not a good one about radiation teenagers.
Yeah.
Come on, this one's much better than this movie.
This movie is like a trauma movie, but worse. How they did it, I'll never know.
Why is Criterion even dealing with this movie?
I don't know, man. That was a big question of mine, too. Why is it on the Criterion Collection?
Yeah.
And, is it independent cinema? No-budget cinema, maybe? I don't know.
There's movies that are better, like Return to Nukem High.
Yeah.
Class of Nukem High. Toxic Avenger. Even movies like Midnight Skater. Those are...
I bet Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is better.
And that's not a knock on those movies I just listed, or the movie you just listed there, but they did it better.
This movie, man, it was so frustrating. It's good to laugh about it later. At least we have this catharsis.
Yeah.
But, man, it's hard to
After I finished watching, I'm like, Joe's going to hate this. And then you post on Facebook, and I was like, I'm sorry.
This is one of the hardest 90 minutes I've ever been through. I'm sitting here, and I'm like, all right.
I couldn't take the pause it to walk and stretch. I couldn't sit through the whole 90 minutes.
Man,
I had to take breaks.
This was so hard.
Okay, so...
I was about... You know how far I was when you saw that Facebook post?
How far?
I was 20 minutes in.
Alright, okay. I'm not going to go with what we liked. I didn't like much. You like the actress. I don't like much.
The effects were bad.
The soundtrack was good.
Yeah, I mean...
just buy the soundtrack, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm trying to say. If you can find it on
I would say just buy the records, man.
Yeah.
Don't even bother with the soundtrack.
Okay, so buy, rent, or skip.
Fucking burn it.
You know what I'm going to say, Joe? I'm going to say buy. God to skip this movie because no. All right, so if you watch this movie and you disagree with us, please let us know what you like in the comments section below. If you want us to talk about any other like low-budget horror movies that are on the Criterion Collection,
Man.
let us know down there below. What is your favorite movie that's similar to this movie, plot-wise? Radiation, zombies, teenage life, Porky, stuff like that. Let us know in the comment section so we can watch a better one. So
Please, if you like this movie, comment below.
please let us know. I want to know.
Please comment.
I want to know what's great about it.
Please tell me. I want to talk to you.
Yes, we do. And to follow the rest of it, we're going to do the rest of the month. We're going to do spooky movies. So please subscribe so you get every single episode right when it airs every Wednesday. And you can follow us on Twitter at CondishMCP.
Yep.
And until next time, I had something better. I was thinking something. No. Skip this movie.
Cat got your tongue?